Da, da, da,
Da,
da.
da, da, da.
What's the Craic podcast number?
17,
17?
I think.
18? We don't know. We've done so many episodes at this point.
But no episodes with
Our new
Shroomate.
shroomate.
That's right. But, you know.
Oh, hang on. This is the new addition to our familia. I don't know if I use Rick again, to be honest.
Welcome edition. We love mushrooms. We love aliens. It's super cuddly, super fluffy, super mushroomy.
We're just one big, super trippy family.
Super trippy family. Nice. So yeah, what's the crack other than us having a new shroom-mate?
I have got this podcast, this episode. I've got
this
podcast right here. Tune in.
Oh no. You got shy.
Have you fallen over already, hon? You've been there 2 seconds. Don't knock Alan out. Okay.
Yeah, like we know you're new, but Alan's the star of the show.
Everyone loves him, so you've got big boots to try and stand next to. Oh no, he's dabbing too much to the left, to the right, to
bank
the
holiday
right.
weekend and that, he's fucked.
I've actually got a dilemma.
You went for some snacks then,
I
didn't
did, and I was like, I've got to speak actually. Okay. So this week it's from a man who wants to know if he's a prick for ghosting a woman.
Probably yes.
Who got the wrong end of the stick about their friendship. So this is what he's written. I fully understand that I might be the prick here. I just ghosted someone for the first time, but I didn't know what else to do.
I like the accountability.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat.
Yeah. We met on Hinge, but after speaking for a little while, she said she wasn't sure about dating and was leaving the app, but would like to talk on WhatsApp as I seem nice and we could at least be friends. I was actually happy with this as I felt that was more a connection I'd felt from our conversations. After a few days of messaging, she stopped, then reappeared a couple of weeks later, suggesting that I tag along on a dog walk. Again, she said as friends. We met up 4 times.
Like, we get it, lady. We're just friends. Like, you don't have to keep saying it.
Suggesting that I tag along on a dog walk. Again, she said as just friends. We met up 4 more times after that for dog walks. And the last time we had a barbecue on the beach, there was never any romance, no flirtation or physical affection. Then one night, I got a bunch of drunken messages and voice notes asking for my validation.
Jeez, Becca, tell me how you really feel.
Had a couple of wines. It took me by surprise a little, but I wasn't able to listen to the voice notes or reply fully because I was with my son. I sent a short message explaining that I was out and that I'd listen later. Some of the content was her making it clear that she thought we had a strong romantic connection. I explained that I thought she was a really nice person and really fun to be with, but I made it clear that I think this is a friends-only situation. I told her that I understood if she didn't want to be friends, though. Over the next couple of days, I received tons more messages from her. I was trying to be short but kind in response. A week or so later, she reached out and said she did want to be friends and suggested that we meet up. I was working away that week, but I said I'd reach out. I haven't reached out yet as I have no free time to, but this weekend she's messaged. I don't have any free time to reach out, but I'm right in this dilemma. But this weekend she messaged saying that she felt I'd ghosted her by not reaching out, and that wasn't friendly behavior. I didn't reply because I wanted to talk to my friend about how to reply in the kindest but clearest way to say I don't want to see her again. All the messages have put me off, and I've also started dating again, but I didn't tell her yet. She's now sent a final message saying that I'm awful because I ghosted her and that I'm full of shit. I've now blocked her, but am I a prick, or is it best that I keep her blocked for both our sakes? What do you think?
Bro, keep it blocked, man.
Run, 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 run. Run as fast as you can. Run, 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 run.
What song is that?
I've just made it up.
And I run so far away. I can't remember the name of that song, but it's a classic.
Oh, that's a song.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, mine was actually a song.
I was just making it up, freestyling. Yeah. Here on What's the Craic podcast.
Music studio.
Rewind.
Yeah, so first problem, first red flag. She set the boundary of we're just friends.
Yes.
Which he was happy to, to respect and sounded like he wasn't that into her and was like, yeah, you're cool, but not cool enough to be further than that. So yeah, we'll just be friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's drunkenly texting him. I'm imagining it stupid o'clock, proclaiming her love for him, and that is more than that. Hun, if you felt a different way about this man,
why did you lie?
Why did you say let's just be friends? And why? And also, don't ever trust someone who can only speak about their emotions when they're drunk, because they're emotionally unavailable.
Yeah.
If she's told you she likes her sober, and then when she's drunk she's just like added to that, cool. But no, I don't like you. Let's stay friends. Oh, I'm drunk now. I really love you.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Massive
red flag. You're lonely. You're feeling insecure because you did the whole let's be friend things, and I agreed with it.
And probably expected him to chase her.
Yeah, exactly. And I've not done that. And now you're like, you've got drunk. It's all come out, and you're acting like an idiot.
Yeah.
And furthermore, if he had ghosted her,
yeah,
then he wouldn't have messaged her to say I will reply to you. But he's not obligated to reply to her in 1 day, a week, a month. Love, I'm busy. I will reply to you
when I reply to you.
That's not ghosting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you're letting her know.
Sorry, what's your time scale? There was no like I'll reply in a day or whatever. It's I'm busy. I'll reply when I reply.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, he's obviously written this out before messaging her back, but he says as well that he wanted to speak to his friend. So I'm guessing, this guy sounds really nice. Actually, it sounds like he's kind of realised she's a bit off key, but he doesn't want to put her down because she's probably super sensitive, which is probably something he picked up on, and hence why he was agreed to like the whole let's just be friends thing. Which, if you're going on dates with someone and there's no like romantic flair there, like this whole like let's be friends thing, that like you can go find female friends in other places. Just
don't.
There's you're just going to complicate it.
You're in the same pool.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Like, yeah, I agree. Actually,
like, oh yeah, we dated, but now we're just friends. Like, nah.
Yeah.
There's something going on there. Because you dated for a reason. You didn't just date. You didn't go on that date because there was no attraction or interest. So,
But the thing was, it wasn't like a date. They were just hanging out as friends, as she said. But I do agree. I think people who like date someone and then say, "Oh, let's just be friends," like you're just looking for trouble.
Just leave it.
Just like find friends somewhere else.
Like, what do you go on a date for? If you're not going to get a free meal. Thing.
Oh.
What do you go on a date for?
To find a romantic connection,
right? To hopefully have a romantic partner, right?
Yes.
At least you'd hope that is the reason people go on dates. Let's just like typically say that is the reason. Obviously, not going to go down the slippery slope of what dating has become these days. That's another podcast for another time. So your intention is to find a partner. If you haven't found a partner in that person, move on.
Yeah.
Move on. Like it's great to find new friends, but go art class or go pottery class or go rock climbing or something and find someone there. Like they can be your friend. You know what I mean? Don't do it through dating because there's this whole that's not a mutual ground that you've met on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like let's see if we fancy each other. Oh no, we don't, but we'll be friends. It's one of you's is at least gonna still want the other person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because initially that's why you were on the date.
And also I feel like, she should just keep her remain blocked because I feel like because I feel like men who like will still say, for example, will still have her. It's just an option. Do you know what I mean? It's an option when there's nothing else available. Like, oh, I know she likes me.
Yeah.
I can tap
easy
that.
out, innit?
Exactly.
I can tap that
when I want. But I think in society that's a lot. That's something that happens a lot.
Yeah.
So, I think keep her remain blocked. You're seeing someone else now.
Which, to be fair, he doesn't need to even tell her that anyway. Because if they've only gone on one date and then they've just hung out as friends, apart from the drunken text that she sent, you don't owe her enough to tell her, oh, by the way, I'm dating someone else. Because they were never interested in that way anyway. We were just friends, so fuck off.
But when they exchanged numbers, they were just friends.
Yeah.
She said that, let's just exchange numbers because we can at least be friends.
So what? Like, you don't, bro, what are you worrying about telling her that you're seeing someone else? It's got nothing to do with her.
And then now it's making me think that I don't know, do you think maybe he picked up that she did want something more prior to that? Or do you think the first time that she drunkenly messaged him that he knew? Because he said there was nothing between them.
It's hard to tell. But probably.
But yeah, he doesn't need to tell him.
No.
Tell her.
Tell him. Yeah, keep her blocked because it sounds like she's going to get drunk. It's one of the ones where nothing that you say will stop her.
Yeah.
And she just needs to like figure it out herself, and that means ignoring her.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Let her find the next victim.
And like I said, this guy sounds like he's a good guy, and that's probably like pretty hard to do because you're thinking, I don't want to hurt feelings, bro. Like honestly, you can't fix that. You can't help that. She's got to battle it out herself, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, at least he found out early.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. Why would you call on let's just be friends? Lead him down the be friends path.
I'll tell you why. Because she wanted to chase. She wanted to chase.
She wanted to reject him, so then he'd be like, "Oh no, like I want you more than that."
Girls do that. Like, that's a thing that girls do. They'll act like they're not interested in a man, or just because they want the chase, they want the man to put the effort in, and they feel validated. Like, oh, I said no to him.
Yeah,
like,
#validation.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Oh god.
So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that for sure.
It's just a headache, man.
It's boring.
It's boring.
Let's play another game.
It's brilliant.
I heard they got Smash Bros on Nintendo now, so
you're gonna regret the day that we get Smash Bros on Nintendo, because I'm gonna Smash Bro you.
I don't know.
What?
I'm a really good button basher.
Episode of us playing Smash Bros and me absolutely annoying sort of coming soon.
Shall I tell you something funny? This one time,
I
used to be really shit at UFC. The game.
I was gonna say
the game, not real life.
They've destroyed you in real life too.
I don't know about that. I was playing with my brothers, and obviously I was horrendous. So I went away. I went to the hyperbolic time chamber, and I skilled up on UFC. And I went back, and some of my cousins were around, and my brother was just beating everyone's ass, like winning. And then I was like, well, I'll have a go. And he's like, oh, you want a beating too? I was like, let's go.
Why not?
I came out of nowhere and beat his ass. So.
Where did you train in the time chamber?
No, Studio 508.
Well, you got it here. That's so funny. You know what we'll do? We'll get Switch and we'll get Smash Bros and we'll play each other, and I'll train you up to become fucking sick at the game.
And they'll be like, how have you
suddenly got so good? And just like YouTube videos.
That'd be hilarious.
Because to be fair, we wouldn't even have to get the Switch. We'll get Nintendo GameCube or something, or even 64, which has the OG one on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We'll it's same buttons.
Coming for you, brother.
Coming soon. The destruction of siblings
in Smash Bros.
But yeah. Thank you for that dilemma.
Anytime.
Thank you for sending in that dilemma, anonymous person. I guess I will read out the next dilemma for you. Mm-hmm. Your words of advice from the feminine energy to the left. Also, this is a Muzi thing, so you know.
Ooh.
Interesting. So, a female of 24, have been married for nearly 4 years now, and before my marriage, my husband would make jokes about him getting the second wife.
Okay.
But would always tell me it's a joke and he does not mean it. Fast forward to now, he sat me down and told me he wants a second wife and that he's allowed Islamically. I did make it clear to him before marriage that I was not keen on the idea of polygamy. Polygamy. But he seems to not really care what I have to say. I thought of asking for a divorce, but just don't. I can't read today, but just don't know how to get about this since pregnant. Oh, it's actually this that's written wrong.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, no offense. The reasons he mentioned our intimacy is losing, as he doesn't find me that attractive anymore. Curves is the word he used. He said he still loves me. He just wants another wife. Okay, I've got my opinion on that one. I don't know what else to mention. Yes, I do live in the West, and I'm not too sure what the law is on polygamy. However, what he wants is a second wife back home, so I don't think that would even be a factor for him. He goes back home from time to time as he has some work back there. Also, yes, he is financially stable enough to maintain 2 families if it had actually got to that. What's your advice?
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. First of all, I think he's already got to go back home.
Mm.
And it's not that he's just thought about having a second wife. He's met someone by the sounds of it. And he's now letting you know that it's going to be a thing.
Mm.
Second of all, sounds like he's not attracted to you because you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming she's gained a little bit of weight or she's
got
gotten
curves
round.
now. Like, he's pregnant. She's
pregnant. Got a baby in her, hun. It's gonna like you're gonna look a little round. And also, I don't know the details, but I thought Islamically you had to request permission before marriage from your partner if you wanted to have a second wife. You had to that had to be discussed before you got married. So I'm not really sure where if he's allowed. Well, I don't think he cares.
Yeah,
but like where
he can't do it anyway.
Where that comes in. But advice for her, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because she's pregnant. If it was me in that situation, like I wouldn't put up with it if I'm completely honest, pregnant or not, because you still got your family to support you and whatnot, and getting divorced and married is actually very normal now. But if your partner's crossing a boundary that you don't accept and he's doing something that you're not happy with, then really, like, potentially time to let him know that's what's on the table. If he's not, if he's not, willing to understand where you're coming from, because it's not fair. It's not fair to just go and decide I'm going to get a second wife.
But just take it as face value. Let's assume that he hasn't got a wife back home, and he wants a second wife, and he's saying that to her, as opposed to actually having one. Is that still okay for him to ask at least, or is that still bro, see you later?
I think he can ask, but from what it sounded like he was going to do it regardless of her feelings. Which is why I said that, maybe he has already got someone that he's just letting her know this is going to happen now, and also it's back home. But if he hasn't, and that it's open for negotiation, then I would say negotiate and say to him that, no, this isn't something that I want or accept. And, it's a deal breaker for me, I'm afraid. We didn't discuss this before marriage. We discussed this before marriage. You didn't tell me that you were definitely going to do this before marriage. If I'd known that, I probably wouldn't have married you. Yeah. Because that's not, again, it's misrepresentation. It's not fair. A very extreme scenario, but it's a bit like Kris Jenner and Bruce Jenner. He decided he wanted to be a woman, and she was like, well, that's a deal breaker for me, hon. Sorry. No offense to you, cool, you go do that. But it's the same kind of thing. It's like when you make a big change or you make a big decision in your life, the person that you're married to, if it's going to affect them and it's a deal breaker for them, especially if they didn't know before you got married, then that's not really fair.
I think it's a tricky one because, I understand, religiously where it probably comes from. Back in the day, obviously, men could, now a woman can only get pregnant once a year, let's say, whereas obviously a man can have as many kids as possible. So this whole have multiple families thing, especially if you've got the means to back up having multiple families, it can work. But the problem is, in modern day context, does it work? Doesn't really look like it does. And the other problem is that most of the time it's just an excuse for men to have multiple partners, because in this case, why does he want a second wife? Oh, because I'm not attracted to you anymore. So aka I don't want to have sex with you anymore. So what you're saying is that you're married to her and you don't want to break up with her, but you want another wife to have sex with,
basically.
Not if it was I want to have another wife because I want to have a bigger family and whatever, that I could understand. Fair enough. That's still not something that I do, but I get that. But babe, I don't fancy you anymore, I want to have another wife. Sorry, that's not, you're not in a marriage with your wife. You love her even if she is curvy. Do you know what I mean?
And the thing is, she's going to go back to normal after. That's so ridiculous. But also, the whole having multiple wives thing. So I think where it comes from is back way back when the men went to war. Many men died in war. Yeah. And then there was all these women left without partners. Yeah. Because their husbands had died in war, they got kids. So then the men would marry additionally to look after them in that way. So it wasn't even necessarily I want to spread my seed and have a bigger family. It's just you need someone to look after you, and I will take that responsibility because your husband died in war alongside me, or whatever. Yeah. But in today's society, it's not anywhere near as noble as that. It's literally, in I think almost every scenario. I'm bored of my first wife. I want to get another one to sleep with, and it's essentially sleeping around, but like under the guise of
but
it's religiously allowed.
Yeah, and making it okay because we're married.
Yeah.
And it's just like
the other thing I would say, and again, this isn't something that I would do, but I know from like other people who have been in this situation and have like, you know, where it's like multi-families, multi wives, multi-families. I don't know what the correct term would be, but other people who are in a similar situation, you know, if the wife's in another country and you don't ever have to deal with her or see her, then, you know, and you've got a kid coming, then the question is that something that you can like accept and be okay with? Not for me personally, but no. I know other people in similar scenarios, like that's kind of like how they've come to terms with it, I guess.
It's just I don't understand it because I guess like, you know, my brain's not wired that way. But even if I try and rationalize it and understand it, like I couldn't imagine sharing you with someone else and being okay with it like that. Literally no. Like the thought of it makes my heart hurt. Do you know what I mean? Like
it's just the weirdest.
It's not really like you're mine or a possessive thing. It's like, yo, like my belief around love is like you share it with just like one other person, at least in the romantic sense. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, imagine sharing that with someone or someone else. It's like you're really just splitting up, like you're splitting up the affection and the love and the intimacy even, because it's just like, yo, what have you got? Like one wife for cooking, one for fucking, one for cleaning, one for looking after the kids. It's like, because they can't all be all that, can they?
I know someone whose dad had his mom had passed away, 3 wives who lived in the same house, so 3 additional wives to his mom.
What is that?
But then he had like wives in other countries too. He had like, I think he had
wives in different postcodes.
Like he really did. This Tony was like 80. And he had like a wife in, I think, Saudi Arabia, and I think a wife in Thailand. So he had like 6 wives.
That's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, and he was, you know, but
he's running 6 businesses.
But he was very wealthy, and you know, obviously, Islamically
7.
they say.
I said 7.
7. Islamically they say you have to treat all your wives equally.
Yeah.
I don't think that's really that possible. You're obviously going to have a favorite. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course
you're obviously going to have one that you like more, or one, and that
because they're all different.
Exactly.
So you can treat them the same as in like, you know, respect and mutual like that, but you will naturally like more than others. You're going to find one more beautiful, one's going to be more funny, one you're going to like spending more time with doing these sort of things, one's going to be this, one's going to be a better parent. Like, that's how it works. That's what humans are. We're not all the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's mad. Like, this guy I know, he asked me, he's like, oh, like, because I was talking about you as I do to strangers. At the time he was anyway. And he was like, oh, like, are you guys married? And I was like, nah. And then he was like, oh, he like really boastfully was like, oh yeah, I've got 2 wives. Like, it was like something for me to be like, oh yeah, well done.
Like, do you want a cookie, mate?
Yeah, it was like the weirdest thing ever. I didn't really know what to say to him. I was kind of like, oh, right, you're a busy man then. He's like, yeah. And I'm just like what? Like, that isn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just say I'm married, not I've got 2 wives.
Yeah, it's like a badge of honor or something. Done, like top shagger.
Yeah, like, I don't get it. And I think that's what it is for a lot of men. It's an ego thing. It's like, you know, having cars and having a nice house and having watches and jewelry.
It's exactly like having cars.
How many wives can I have? Do you know what I mean?
It's exactly like that, yes.
Let me show off my wives. And it's just like, bro, these women ain't objects. Like,
yeah.
You're there to compliment her, not the other way around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, it's a peak little situation. Like, I feel sorry for people who are in that kind of dilemma.
It must be peak for her because he asked her early on, I'm guessing, and she said no, and now, well,
he didn't ask.
He was joking, but she told him like, yo, that like, not a thing, funny joke, but there it is, you know, in the jokes is some realness.
I know someone who's got like has multiple wives. So he married one, got with another, divorced her, has kids with her, and then since then I think he's got like 2 more. But like, the thing is, you're like, you can get all the wives in the world, but you still won't be happy. Because for him, what it seems like is like he's trying to fill a void.
Yeah.
But like the first wife was great.
Okay.
So the second wife was great too. Like she ticked all the additional boxes that maybe the first one that you think wouldn't. But like obviously he's got this like void that he keeps trying to fill. But the thing that he's looking for, he's never going to find because he's not happy in himself.
Because it's in himself, not
exactly
in other people.
Exactly.
He probably gets them, makes them feel good for a bit because
I've got a new girl,
and then it's
and like the ego boost of it. Yeah,
that's how it rolls.
Yeah,
it's a shame, really.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Speaking about shame, let's move on to something a bit more positive.
What you got for me?
Well, there's a festival that I really think we should go to.
Yeah, what is it?
You might have heard of it. The Fyre Festival is coming back.
Didn't the guy go to jail?
For 6 years, yeah. And I'm sure he got fined like millions. You've not seen the documentary?
I've not seen the documentary, but I know what happened. He basically made up a festival, sold it out to everyone, but the festival was trash. Or it didn't even go ahead, did it?
Hey, the festival, if you can imagine, turning up on a Caribbean tropical island, that was a building site. That was what the festival was. People paid thousands for tickets, and they were promised like villas and apartments and things like that. You know them geodome things? They had them built, but nothing was in them. And sorry, half of them were built. Like people turned up and there was nowhere to stay. There was all the beds were all wet, not even in the things yet because they were being left outside. Like the place was like a hellhole, right? So all these people had turned up by boat because it's an island, so you can't.
Oh my God!
Leave. Yeah, there's no water, there's no food. There was like the locals had to start feeding everyone. All the builders that were building the site, they were the locals from the island. Yeah, they hadn't been paid.
No.
So they stopped working, and they all like created like a gang trying to find what's his face, the guy, whatever his name is. And basically, like, it was like a madness because they had worked for however long and hadn't been paid, so they were starving too because they had no money, and the whole thing was just a disaster, like really bad. I think was it Pharrell? No, who was the guy that Ice Cube? No, it wasn't. It was one of those. One of them brothers was in on it as well.
No,
but like promoted it. And they paid like a shit ton of influencers to post like an orange square on Instagram, and that was like the promo for it, and it went like super viral. I never saw it, to be fair.
Oh, interesting.
It went super viral, and they very clever marketing got loads of people to buy tickets to this place that didn't actually ever come to fruition because this guy was like a master snake oil salesman that got loads of investors to invest in it, told everyone the right things, but never produced any of it.
And he's making a second one.
And he's come out of jail and he's making a second one. And
he's been plotting for 6 years.
The first round of tickets are sold out already.
No. Are people stupid?
I think surely people are just doing it for the lols. Like, fuck it, I'm going to be like, you know what it is? It's probably like thirsty influencers and people like that have obviously the money and the time to waste their time thinking, oh yeah, let me go because it's probably going to be another Netflix documentary. Do you know what I mean?
Got you.
It has to be because you ain't that stupid. This guy went to prison for what he did. People could have died. Like, did you not watch the documentary? Like, honestly,
meanwhile, Netflix is like just sat in the corner rubbing their hands, like, go for it, mate.
They probably told him to do it. knowing the propaganda machine, they're probably like, yo, we'll pay you. We'll get another series out of this. The first one was lit. It's still on trending. It's trending again now because you've announced that you're doing another one. We're gonna make the documentary shit out of this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if people are actually going because they think it's a good idea, then like I've really lost my faith in humanity, to be honest. Because like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you're a fucking idiot.
You're a fucking idiot.
Do you know what I mean? Just like, why?
Like, if you've got money to burn, like, we're right here. We can burn it for you.
No, give us the money. We'll put on a better festival than one that doesn't ever come to fruition.
Literally.
At least you'll get fed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We'll make real good food.
But yeah, that surprised me, to be honest. Because I saw it and I was like, I'm sure you're in prison. And I read the thing, it's like, oh, you went to prison for 6 years. I was like, how is this guy gone to prison, come out and done.
He's in prison acting like he wasn't in prison. He was in white people prison.
Yeah.
He's in the country club, got access to
playing
the internet,
golf,
playing golf,
tennis on his
in like a nice
break.
white kit.
Yeah.
Making
Wolf
calls.
of Wall Street style,
Yeah,
Jordan
exactly.
Belfort style. Like, yeah, I went to prison, but it's basically a luxury hotel.
You know, white collar crime is different. It's called white collar crime for a reason.
I'm telling you. It's just mad, man. The stuff people get away with, and the stuff people actually try and get away with.
Wow, I'm actually like...
And the things that people fall for.
And the thing is, if it goes to shit again, he's not going to get in trouble. Get a slap on the wrist.
Oh, you'd
What's his face? Sam
Bankman-Fried.
He got away with it. He just went to his house in the Bahamas for like a year, and then it was all brushed under the carpet.
Yeah. Chilled there. He's like, I've already paid my bail. Paid it years ago.
Yeah, I'm not going to jail. And that's the reality of it. You know, if you're in those circles and you're at that level...
Imagine being that well connected that you literally can commit like millions of dollars of fraud and not go to prison for it. Yet like people are going to prison for having weed on them.
That's why it's so crazy.
It's funny.
That's why it's so crazy.
It's so funny. It's just life.
Yeah. I've got a final question before we end.
Final question.
A final question.
Final question coming up.
Ooh. Final question. So, this is for everyone, really. Thoughts on whining whilst in a relationship? A, definitely cheating. B, having fun. C, it's inappropriate. D, you're enjoying culture. Is it okay to catch a whine when you're in a relationship?
Got to be careful with my answer. No, I'm joking. It's a no. I think the thing is, from the perspective of like my culture, my upbringing, and my thing, no. But from like a Caribbean perspective, most people would probably say that it isn't. That it isn't cheating, and it is just part of the culture. Because that's what I've heard people talk about and say, and it's like it's not a sexual thing. It's not like it's nothing like that. It's just what goes on.
I mean,
like, I don't get it, but
like your bum's on his penis.
Yeah, they're having sex, but not really.
That's just
catching a whine.
Wow. Like I'm just curious. Do you like when men are catching whines, do they get boners?
I mean, I guess you can do, yeah.
But you know what I mean, like
it.
But you know what I mean, like does that happen?
I mean, like when you do it to me.
But you know what I mean, like Notting Hill Carnival, when all these men are catching whines. If it's not sexual, then like, are they getting aroused? Because if it's not sexual, then they shouldn't be getting aroused.
True.
If it's just. So I'm just intrigued.
It's just the culture.
But that was just my last little question.
Well, what do you think?
Yeah, I think based on my culture, my upbringing, catching a whine is a hell no. But like you said, I can understand if it's not our culture. In Caribbean culture, yeah, it's probably just seen as normal. It's cool. It's sweet. It's not a problem. Like I would love to like ask people of that culture who think it's okay. Like, what goes through your head when you see like another man grinding on your girl? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what? Like, could you imagine like what you would think or feel if that like we're just walking down the road and some?
Nah, that's why when we go carnival, you're walking in front of me and I'm holding like this because I'm watching brothers. I've seen. I went on carnival once. That was enough for me. I've seen way too many girls get stolen by man. It's they're wild animals, man. A girl will just be walking, boom, she's catching a whine. She don't even know what's happened.
She's on the floor.
This is serious. I've seen it all. You just see people get picked off from the crowd. They just walk in and all of a sudden, boom! And it's just like. That's my imaginary girlfriend. That wasn't. I figured. But yeah, so it's a no.
Wow. Yeah. So it's a no for me. It's a no for me. But yeah, if anyone's got any like input on what it's like when your girl catches a whine and you're okay with it, I'd love to know like what goes through your head. Do you like watch it and do you enjoy it too, or like what's the scenario?
Is it okay for the guy to do it? Is it okay for the girl to do it?
Yeah.
I'd say that men think it's alright for them to do it, but they don't like their girls doing
Well,
it. That's just my 2 pence, though.
But this is
just my 2 pence. I'm gonna end on that.
But this is the brilliant thing. I saw an interview with Digga D, and this is recently where the presenter says to him, "Is it okay to catch your mind whilst in a relationship?"
Uh-huh.
And he kind of like was avoiding answering the question. He took his sweet time, like coming to answer the question. And he's like, no, my girl can't catch a wine if she's in a relationship. Like, it's not cool. It's not cool. And he's like, but I can catch one. And then he was like, I'm joking. But like, that's the true mentality. Is like, well, you can't catch one, but I'll catch one. And I think that's the facts of it.
And it's like, yeah, I can have multiple like wives, but you can't have multiple husbands.
Yeah, which is also interesting. It's an interesting little thing.
It's a man's world.
Say it again.
It's a man's world, but it is nothing without a woman. That's the Craic.
That's the Craic. Thanks for coming.
You threw me off. Why did you do this first round?
Because I was giving you love.
Thanks.